All right, let's talk about the dissolving of the Education Department. You are chairman of the Senate Education Committee. Are you against it or for it?
I am for it. President Reagan talked about this in 1980. And so to see a President Trump take it on and attempt to execute, which will require my help and the help of the Senate Republicans to get it done, is kind of a realization of that which Republicans have understood needed to be done for some time.
So how is it going to happen? And do you think obviously legislation is going to be needed? What are you going to do?
First, I'm speaking with Secretary McMahon, and how do we come up with something? They'll have to deliver something to us, and then we will work to make it happen. First thing you have to do is relieve anxiety. Secretary McMahon made it clear when she was in her confirmation hearings, this is not about decreasing federal funding.
Right.
It's about returning control to the parents and the local school district. And the fundamental question is, who has the child's interest more at heart, the mom, the dad, the local school board, or a Washington, D.C. bureaucrat? And this is about giving control to mom and to give control to dad.
So now the teachers union, school districts are suing President Trump's administration over the dismantling of the Education Department. Not unexpected that the American Federation of Teachers and its Massachusetts chapter joined the East Hampton School District, the Somerville Public School Committee in challenging this executive order.
Yeah, so way back when Jimmy Carter set this up, he put the stakeholders, the vested interest in public education, who are more about their vested interest than they are about the child. He gave them an inordinate amount of influence over the Department of Education. And you saw this during the COVID lockdown, when clearly it was safe for people to go back to the classroom, and teachers unions weighed in to keep kids locked out. Now, this should be more about the child, not about a D.C. bureaucrat. We need to put the parent centerpiece into the education of their child. And by the way, is the parent going to have more influence over a local school board or over a Washington, D.C. bureaucrat? Clearly, it's the local school board. Let's give power to the parent. Let's give mom the power.
What about special education? Who's going to take care of that?
She made it clear that funding will not be decreased for the special ed programs.
Who's going to do it?
It will be local school boards, but there will still be accountability required of the federal government. Right. The federal taxpayer is not going to want his or her tax dollars going someplace and being used to do something which is inappropriate.
Understood.
So there will still be accountability measures. We can do it a lot better than we're doing now.
Pell Grants, student loans, things like that, is that going to Treasury?
So right now, the president has moved some of the student loan activity to the Small Business Administration, and they do a lot of loans. They've got a lot of expertise. I will point out that the Department of Education under Biden covered itself with shame in terms of how they managed that program, costing the federal taxpayer hundreds of billions of dollars, and frankly, the kids who had to pay it back too. So we can do this a lot better, and I think a new approach is called for.
Senator Cassidy, do you think that maybe cutting the interest rate on these student loans rather than randomly forgiving these loans and defying the Supreme Court is an option you could do?
Well, yes, but I'll tell you, there's already so many programs out there to help somebody, for example, who loses their job get forbearance on paying it back. And when the Biden administration was just kind of coming up with a let's forgive everything as if it had to be done to rescue people, they were ignoring that which is already out there. More fundamentally, we need to address the high cost of education so that kids don't get in this situation to begin with, and that's the place to begin.
Interesting. So how do you plan on judging if there's improvement, if everyone wants to get away from teaching to the test? How are you going to judge if anyone's learning anything?
Well, first, we can acknowledge that we started off in 1979 when it was nationalized, if you will, I think like in the top 5 internationally in terms of the performance of our kids. And now we're like, way below that. So there has been a decline over the period of time in which we have nationalized the regulation of education. Now, it's not overnight, but as a rule, I would ask, who cares more about a child's education? The parent, particularly the mom, or some D.C. bureaucrat? We can expect improvement.
And the teachers are great. We just got to give the great teachers more money. Senator Bill Cassidy, I'm glad you're in charge.